You're the seller. You got your property for sale. You got a contract and a closing date. A few days before the closing date, the buyer approaches you and says, "Hey, I need 1 week's extension on the finance contingency because my lender hasn't given me a clear to close." And you agree to it. So everything is fine and dandy. Next week's comes around and the buyer asks for another week's worth of extension. So as a seller, you wonder what's going on, and you still want the deal to go through and to get to the closing table, but you also want to make sure that you hold the buyer accountable. So what can you do? Very simply, you don't have to agree and accept the extension. You can deny the extension with the understanding that you very much intend to sell the property to that person. The contract is still very valid. The only difference is if the buyer does back out for whatever reason, or their financing falls through, the earnest money that they've already given, now they no longer have rights to it. So in a way, you kind of get compensated for all the extra time that you're waiting around if the buyer backs out. Now, if the buyer goes through and shows up at the closing table and the deal closes, then there's no negative impact and repercussions for either side.